and welcome to Friends That Invest, the podcast that feels like a voice note from your favorite finance friend. My name is Sim Kaur. I am an accredited investor. I love talking about money and personal finance, and I hope that by the end of this episode, you get to walk away with 5 myths that we have about rich or wealthy women. You know the truth, and you can use these in your own life to either reach that financial goal that you have or that career goal that you have, because there are a lot of lies out there about wealthy women. You can't really blame anyone for it. We really just see what we see online and what we've seen growing up in movies. I mean, my introduction to rich women was Desperate Housewives, and that has definitely skewed my perception. And then after that, it was The Real Housewives. And just watching those shows, you think you need to look a certain way, to act a certain way. You need to have at least like 2 divorces and a fur coat and a fur hat. And that's kind of like the uniform of being rich. But let's go straight into myth number 1, which is that to be a wealthy woman, you have to look put together all the time. And while there is like some reasoning behind why we have this misconception, you know, when you walk past someone that she looks put together, you know, she's got her hair done, she's got a blowout, she has her nails done, she's wearing stylish clothes, and she looks really relaxed, you more often than not think, well, she's probably quite rich. But in my experience, and I've talked about this before over the years on the podcast where we speak about the millionaire next door, and I'm seeing a lot of content online about like quiet millionaires, which is the same idea, the idea that most people that have means or are quite wealthy actually don't necessarily dress like it. And the Venn diagram of people that dress like quite posh and people that have a lot of money, that is a Venn diagram that has a little bit of an overlap. It's not a pure like circle on circle. It's not 100%, because the millionaire next door, when it interviewed people that had lots of money from the outside, they went to the places that had the biggest homes with the fanciest cars where people looked really, really wealthy. And they found, well, actually those people often have a lot of debt. They've bought these big homes and they have more of an interest in keeping up a certain lifestyle. Now, of course, this is not everyone, and some wealthy women that like dress incredibly. I know this one businesswoman, and she is always dressed to the nines, but she's also incredibly hardworking, self-made, and doesn't quite fit this bill. So there's obviously going to be exceptions, but the Millionaire Next Door book went and then interviewed people that were more quiet millionaires, people that actually had millions of dollars invested, like liquid assets. Because a liquid millionaire is so different to just a millionaire that's got money in their home that they live in and cars that they have, and actually doesn't have the cash, or they're sort of house rich, cash poor. We're not talking about these people. But in my experience, the more I have like been plucked out of the life that I grew up in, which was middle class, comfortable, not too crazy, not too rich, not too poor, like public school. And, you know, there weren't many wealthy people that I knew. But as I have become wealthier and met a lot of incredible female founders, business owners, like I won't name names, but they have done really, really well for themselves. And when I look at them, they dress pretty normally. Like they will just be in a grey blazer and pants, and, you know, maybe if you look carefully or if you talk to them, you'll get like hints of them saying like, I just came back from a trip, and they won't mention that the trip was like a day trip to this beautiful place just to do some shopping, which, you know, is crazy, but is something that you wouldn't pick up on, because most people, most women that have done well for themselves, especially women that are self-made, they are busy working. They are busy building. They don't have all the time in the world to focus on having the newest things and the best things and looking the most put together. They just look like normal corporate women. They look like working women. They look like mums, you know, but they are just rich women. They're just like us. But the misconception is that you must look a certain way, or you must be a certain way. You must have like your teeth fixed and your skin perfect and like a facelift the moment things start to droop a little bit. So that myth out the door. We don't follow it anymore. The second myth about wealthy women, a myth that I used to maybe even believe as a kid, but very quickly learned was not true, is that most women that are wealthy have made their wealth through divorce or marrying rich. And again, you grow up watching like Gossip Girl and Lisa Vanderkamp. Is that her name? Yeah, Lisa Vanderkamp. No, I'm thinking about Lisa Vanderpump. Oh my God, their names are so similar. Anyway, Lily Vanderkamp is the mother of Serena Williams. Oh my God, I don't know any single name anymore of Serena Vanderkamp. Every divorce, she would get more money and she'd get more money. And that is not necessarily the case. In fact, a study that looked at millionaires within the US, men and women, found that 80% of millionaires are actually millionaires without an inheritance. They are what we call self-made millionaires. And now, I always use the word self-made with like an asterisk because self-made also includes someone that went to a really good private school or someone that maybe didn't have parents that had a lot of cash, but the parents had good connections, or the parents gave them a stable home and they were able to grow their wealth because they weren't really in survival mode. So there's lots of different layers of privilege that are part of the self-made trope. But in saying that, all these women, especially the women that I have gotten to meet, and these are women that I have met in the UK, in Canada, in the US, in Singapore, in Australia, and New Zealand, and India. Like, I have been very lucky that I've been able to travel the world, host talks, do workshops, meet and chat with these women, and I'm very I'm very nosy. So I always ask them a lot of questions. And, their stories are like, they started a business, or they worked up in a corporate career, or they joined a startup and got equity in the startup. And then when the startup did well, they sold their shares. Even if you go back and listen to our old episodes that we did, where we did Millionaire Diaries episodes, a lot of these women did not come from wealth. Yes, some of them had an inheritance, but I think that was one out of the 20 women that we had interviewed. A lot of them were 9-to-5ers that got equity or started their own businesses. And this idea that we have to find a rich man to be a wealthy woman or a comfortable woman is just not true anymore. And if you really think about it, if you really take a moment and think about it, have you met men recently? They're in the same job market, trying to do the same things. They're not as good investors either, which actually leads me to point number 3, or myth number 3, which is that wealthy women have gotten wealthy because they leave the finances up to their male partners. And again, this myth is not true. Our own research at Friends That Invest has shown that most of the Friends That Invest community are actually the CFO within their families, within their dynamics at home. Most of the women in our community make decisions on where they should invest for the household, as opposed to it being a joint decision, or as opposed to their partners taking over the decision. And it is the exact same amongst wealthy women too. We see that wealthy women end up being much better investors than their male partners, but this data is the same regardless of income level. We find, Fidelity is seeing that female investors outperform male investors in the retail market, female fund managers outperform male fund managers, and women lose less money in the share market compared to men. When things do well, we invest better, and when the overall market does poorly, we lose less money. We are really, really, really good at investing. And the reason we're good at it is not because of our estrogen levels. It is just the way that women tend to invest. We tend to buy index funds. We tend not to trade. We tend not to move our investments too much. We tend to have long-term investment views, and we just don't log in and move things around. These are all really good fundamental ways of being an investor, and we just do it very well. The fourth myth about wealthy women is that if you see someone on a boat doing a business deal, or if you're walking past, when you walk through past business class and you're walking to your seat and you see people on their laptop working away, or on the phone doing a business deal, and you go, wow, they must be so rich, they must be so successful. This is again something I used to believe, but if you really think about it, who's the richest person on the plane? Is it the person sitting, reading a book all like sitting, putting on headphones and watching, their show. I mean, let's assume this is amongst the business class cabin. Is it that person? Or is it the person that's like stressful on the phone trying to sort out a deal because it hasn't been done, because they don't have a solid business where they can outsource that to someone else, and they are still working even on holiday, or they are still working even on a boat? Like if you see two people, one of them has a big boat, but they are on the phone, they are stressed, they are like doing deals, and it looks really smart and professional and like, oh my God, like what a very important woman. But if you think about it, that person clearly has leverage like up to their eyeballs for their lifestyle. They have the bigger boat, they have the bigger house, but now they have to make the big salaries and hit their bonuses and their targets and do really well just to maintain that lifestyle. And they probably don't have a lot of liquid assets. They just have a lot of things. Compare that to the wealthy woman that's maybe on a rental boat, or she's not even on the boat. She's just like in the water by the side, and she doesn't maybe look as wealthy, but she has millions of dollars invested because her lifestyle is not so high, and the money that she does make, she is able to invest it, she's able to put it aside, and she has complete freedom of time. There is no one calling her up being like, the slides need to change, like section 4, that paragraph, are we happy with it? What do you think the shareholders are going to say? Like, she doesn't have that stress. And out of those two women, if I walked past them, naturally, I would think the one with the big boat is probably wealthier. But realistically, the one that doesn't need to work to maintain that kind of lifestyle is the wealthier one, because her investments have given her enough financial freedom. And so when you compare this idea again of the millionaire next door, it's so much less about how you look and how you're perceived and how booked and busy you are. And it's more about, am I at peace? Am I calm? Do I have enough to cover myself? Can I become work optional? Could I, like, what does life look like? Can I retire early in my 40s and 50s rather than, working myself to the bone till 65, even though I have a high salary, but I have all these debts and I have all these obligations and I have private school fees and all these things to pay for. The fifth and final myth about wealthy women or rich women is that they don't like sharing and that they are kind of keeping to themselves. I have not had anything but a positive experience amongst other wealthy women, real wealthy women, because they have nothing to prove to me and I have nothing to give them. Like, they are so much richer than I am, and all we can really offer each other is our friendship. And I have found, this is more anecdotal, so take what I say with this point with a grain of salt. It's not really evidence-backed. It's more like, in my experience, da-da-da-da-da. But, we're listening in for my experience in this situation. I have found that they are so much more collaborative and open to just like giving you advice and helping you out and inviting you to things, more so than I thought. Like, and I'm generalizing here, but they have this idea of abundance, and like the pie is bigger and bigger and bigger every day. And, you doing well or you getting this doesn't take away from them. They don't think that if you achieve something or you buy something nice or your business does well, they don't see that as competition. They're like, that's awesome. You do that. I'm going to also, do this in my side, in my field. And I find that they're so open to being like, oh, like, you need a hand? Like, this is the lawyer I use. This is the person I use. One of them was like, hey, Sim, like, I have a meal prepper that comes in and preps meals for me, and it's made my life so much easier. You should totally do that. And I was like, that's nice, but like, I don't know how to. And it's like, it sounds really confused. And she was like, I have a job description that I use, and here are all the like Excel spreadsheets and files of like how we do it and how here you go, have it for free. Like, just take it, run with it. And so I did, and I was able to hire someone to help come in on once a week and like meal prep for me. There's no gatekeeping. And I think that's why I'm also so open online, and I don't mind being online and like sharing all these things, because the more you can like share and open and be helpful, it's because you truly believe like there is enough in the world for everyone and we should all have the access to this information. The only people that I've met that have been like gatekeepy or clutch what they have really tightly are the people that maybe either don't have as much as they're portraying, or, I mean, I don't know how much they have, so I assume, or they have like this fixed mindset that if you do well, you're taking away from them, and there can only be so many people that do well. And if you're a really successful young woman, and so are they, like, that's competition, and they'll struggle to do well in the long term because they kind of burn all their bridges. And I've seen that happen over the years with some people. Yet the women that are like collaborative, they're like, whatever you need, I'm here to help, whatever I can do for you. Like, tell me what I can do. Tell me how I can help. Tell me what I can give you. They just continue to do even better because they're making all these connections in a way, and they're creating a name for themselves as being a very helpful person. And one of the things that I learned was that the best kind of person is someone that is a connector. And so one of the things I have done consistently over like the last 5 years is I will connect people. I'll like meet someone, whether it's internationally or locally, and I'll be like, hey, I think you should meet this person. I think you should meet this person. Hey, come over to my house for dinner. Let's all do something together. And I kind of bring different people together and amazing things happen. Like people will get funded into companies. I introduce someone else and like a VC will go, oh, that's great. Like we'll invest in them. Or I'll introduce someone, they go, oh my God, that's great. Like, and they become lifelong friends. And I just feel like friendship Cupid, because when you say to people, you're doing great work, let me introduce you to someone that's really incredible that can help you, you're kind of, again, not gatekeeping and opening that up. And I found that that has worked really well for me, as opposed to like, oh, I know someone, but like they're my friend and I don't want you to have access to that. Just being open, being available has just made such a difference. And so these myths around like needing to look the part or marrying rich or, you know, being someone that always looks busy, is always on the phone, is very gatekeepy and just like isn't good at investing for themselves. These things are maybe true in like pop culture and in movies. And I'm sure there are actually women, people like this that do exist, but I have found over time that they are more of the minority. And actually the women that are out there, they are incredible. They are so smart and I am so inspired by them. And I hope you have found this episode helpful. If you have, please, I have one little favor to ask you. Please follow us on YouTube. Please subscribe to the channel, leave a comment. It helps the YouTube channel grow as much as possible, which means we get more resources to make the channel better, which means we make better episodes for you. So with that, I'll see you next Tuesday.